Yeah, that day in Bermuda, it was scary as hell. We all probably almost died, you know? You guys should see Anna swim with goggles and without goggles.
Which one's better?
I'm a different person with goggles.
She could probably go to the Olympics with goggles. She needs a rescue swimmer without.
I thought it was really awesome when he called me. I felt like it was a really cool opportunity to kind of pave the way for women in sport. I've never followed a traditional path, so it kind of fit right along the lines with me as a person, so I was pretty stoked.
Welcome to SailGP One-on-One. I'm Lisa Darmanin, and today I'm lucky enough to have one-on-two. I'm joined by Mike Buckley and Anna Weis of the USA SailGP team. Thanks for joining me, guys. You guys are fresh off the water, but it's great to have you both here. You do things differently in the USA team, and I'd love to learn more about you both. But yeah, welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Well, we might start with you, Mike, because I think you're the vision of the team. You kind of brought this team to life. What's that journey like been for you to not only get a team in SailGP, but to ride the roller coaster of the last 12 months?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Taylor and I have been kind of working together for a long time to try to put American sailing back on the map, and it's kind of lost its way the last, 20 years maybe, kind of on the world stage, or at least that's the perception. And a lot of the time perception is reality. And so, yeah, I mean, it means a lot to, we had some ups and downs on the way, to get to where we're at now, but I think it prepared us to be here. And, we never thought that it would be easy. These are the best sailors in the world, the hardest boats to sail in the world. A lot of things are out of your control, but what you can control is bringing in good people that are willing to work their asses off. And that's what I believe we've done, and I feel really lucky to have a great team and be here in SailGP.
And Anna is one of those good people. Anna, what was it like when Mike gave you a call to come turn some handles for them?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was pretty stoked on the opportunity. I've always really loved the physical aspect of sailing, and that's something that I've been, working on individually, just getting stronger and fitter for my own individual sailing. So I thought it was really awesome when he called me. I felt like it was a really cool opportunity to kind of pave the way for women in sport. I have never followed a traditional path, so it kind of fit right along the lines with me as a person. So I was pretty stoked.
Well, there's always been the excuse that the reason that women aren't on these pro boats is because they're not strong and fit enough, and you're definitely proving that wrong.
and I think the one thing that's overlooked is, like, yes, Anna is strong enough, but she also flies the boat in the maneuvers and trims the jib, so she's not just turning handles, she's doing all the same things that all the other G2s are doing. Some boats, the G2s don't fly the boat in the maneuvers, so I think she's paving the way for women, and not just women and men around the world to chase their dreams.
Yeah, exactly what you said. We don't actually see everything that happens on board. Obviously we see it from the outside. Anna, you're an incredible sailor in your own right, obviously representing Team USA at the Olympics, but I imagine, obviously we just talked about Mike's journey to get the USA team here at SailGP, but what was your journey like in terms of becoming an Olympian and now doing this now? Yeah,
I mean, I think when I was growing up sailing, I always loved being on the water. It wasn't really until I was around 15 or 16 years old that I really took the sport seriously and started to work really, really hard, and I saw some results come with that, and so it kind of excited me, and I kind of poured everything into it, and that's pretty much all I wanted to do. And so I've just kind of put my head down and just worked really hard over the years, and been fortunate enough to attend an Olympic Games and be in SailGP. But I think there's lessons there, is that you can't just put your head down and work really, really hard and then earn these opportunities. And we're as a woman pushing for more opportunities in the sport, but this is definitely the start, and I'm just grateful that I can be in this position.
This might be a loaded question, but that's what we're here for. We have time. What do you think equality would look like to you, like here at SailGP or just in general in sailing?
Yeah, I mean, I think equality, there's so many different layers to it. I mean, just because sailing is my world, I think, when you're looking at opportunities, job opportunities, you look at our NACRA class, and a lot of the people who are hired for the America's Cup, whether they were a crew or skipper in the NACRA, they're all men. And so I think in the future, it'd be really cool to just see women getting those opportunities to go make an America's Cup team and not just the women's team.
The same doors opening for those people that are achieving the same things together.
Exactly, and I think that, that's just an example, but right now there's one woman on each SailGP team, and I think it'd be really, really cool to, continue to have more women's camps and more opportunities to sail in different roles with the people who have more experience, and just like people sharing knowledge more. And ultimately at the end of the day, to put it in simple terms, I think that more women should be getting opportunities to have the jobs that men do. And it's going to take time, and I think this is definitely the start. Martini and myself being in the roles that we're in, I think it's an opportunity for us to show that it is possible. And so I think it's a really exciting time, but there's still a lot of progress to be made.
It's obviously about progress, but also thinking differently. And I think you guys at the USA team thought a little bit differently, leaning on each other's skills in different ways. Obviously, Mike, you bring that strategist hat to the team. Anna, you bring your skills in flying a boat from your NACA experience. Obviously, that fitness as well that came with being a NACA crew. So we actually raced against each other at the Olympics, and I was always like, I want to be like Anna. I want Anna's biceps. No, it's
me
been
too.
Yeah. You and me both,
Yeah.
Mike. But Mike, I guess for you, obviously coming in as a strategist, I think you take a different lens building your team, but you and Taylor have this history together, obviously sailing together. I think building that trust between the strategist and the driver is something that is so important. I mean, doesn't matter what gender you are, that trust is so important. But how do you and Taylor work together?
Yeah, I mean, it's a work in progress, right? We do have a lot of trust and a lot of faith in each other, and kind of the thesis behind it was why he's learning to drive an F50. Let's not create a new relationship that you have to start that trust at zero while he's learning, right? A lot of people have heard me say, I'm not a long-term solution, but in the short term, to get our team to where we think we can kind of compete on a regular basis, we thought, that was the right path. And I think as there's more boats, now with 11 and then 12 boats, there's more traffic, and you have to trust your strategist to talk you through the situations, because most of the drivers in a lot of the situations, you actually can't physically see the other boats. We had a driver strategist meeting, safety yesterday, to talk about those things, right? All the near collisions. It only gets worse with 12 boats and tight race courses. So I think we'll start to see it pay off. But it's all a work in progress for all of us.
And your relationship, obviously, if you've known each other for so long, do you guys get along all the time? How's it work? Is someone the leader, or do you tell him what to do, he tells you what to do?
Yeah. I mean, we both probably just tell each other what to do every day, which is probably part of the problem. But yeah, I mean, we've got a brotherly relationship. He's close with my kids and my wife, and me with his family. But yeah, I mean, it's I wear a lot of hats, and so sometimes I have to say no and wear my CEO hat, and sometimes when it's the sailing hat, on the boat, he's in charge, and that's fine with me. But yeah, I mean, I think like anything else, we bicker and don't agree with each other on a lot of things, but the thing that we both agree on the most is that we don't give up, and we don't listen to the outside noise, and we're going to work until we get to a spot where we're comfortable. But it's going to take time. Like, everybody out here is so damn good at what they do. So yeah.
What do you think of their partnership, Anna? I think it's pretty good to have two heads on the back of the boat.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, all of my relationship with everyone, it's I think we have really good team camaraderie, and I think that is what has taken our team to the next level. And we've been working really hard to build that with each other and trust each other. They're like my big brothers, sometimes my little brothers.
Mostly just your little brothers.
Just my little brothers,
even though
they're all older than me. No, I find myself laughing a lot just because it's entertaining. But it keeps it
good to have
fun.
Anna around. Every restaurant we go to, everything we eat is the best she's ever had. You know, it's
Yeah, it's easy to
I
please.
miss those days, and now I'm like, what is this? You know, so
You're learning what the standards need to be. Yeah, that's fair. Well, you can see the camaraderie from the outside, and you can see that you guys are such a tight knit unit. But I think just reflecting on the last 12 months with you guys at SailGP, it's been a bit of a roller coaster. Obviously, came in really strong in the Middle East, had that pretty scary moment in Bermuda. That's probably the scariest thing that I've watched as well. But does those sort of things kind of bond you together?
yeah, I mean, you know, we've definitely had an up and down, last year. But if you look at like how new of a team we were, and all the little things that happened on land, like not getting off the dock because of issues, like we had very, very little experience, and frankly we still do. So I think like we finished last season where we should have. I mean, I would have never bet that in our second SailGP race we would have finished on the podium, right? And we did. And then to start the season this year on the podium. But yeah, that day in Bermuda, it was scary as hell, right? I mean, we all probably almost died, and but you pick yourself up, and we all know the risks when we leave the dock. And I think you can either take a step back or a step forward. We made some changes to our team and kind of got a little more serious in what we were doing, and brought in a coach that's very data driven and very process oriented. I mean, but I think you hear a lot of people say it's all part of the journey. I try not to say that, but it is a process, right? And like, you've watched some of these Formula One teams, you look at what McLaren has done in the last few years. Like, they were terrible a few years ago. Now they have the most partners on the grid. They win the constructors. Like, Zach had a vision, put the noise, on the side, and went after it. And, that's obviously, we have similar goals, and the future, we'll be able to, the beautiful thing about sport is like the results don't lie, and where we end up at the end of the season, we'll be able to, know whether we're right or wrong, and where we go from there.
I always say you win or you learn, or sometimes you're really lucky and you win and learn.
Yeah.
Anna, watching from the outside, you guys had a pre-season training camp in Bermuda. That seemed to be like a really good thing for your team. Obviously, training time on the water is gold at SailGP. What was that training camp like? Obviously, also living and training together has really set you up for this season. Is that what it feels like?
Yeah, absolutely. And I also can attribute our success in Dubai to the training in Dubai as well. I think we kind of really put our heads down and were honest with ourselves about what we needed to work on. And, we did the tough maneuvers. We did things that weren't the easiest way around the racetrack, just training by ourselves. And, we were all just chipping away at our own individual roles and trying to get better. And I think it really, really paid off. And also, anytime we can spend with each other, because we're all around the world, living in different places. And again, like, that team camaraderie is so, so important. I'm a huge believer that, the way you treat your teammates, the way you are, will set you up for success on the water. I think that is like number one in what I've learned in my sailing career. And so I think it's really great anytime we can spend with each other. And, we're doing a lot of team bonding. Oz, our trainer, it's in the calendar, team bonding.
What happens
But then we never hear from her after training camp. She goes back to LA, and it's like, where's Anna? Oh, she's living the LA life at Red Bull, hanging out, and we're all at home.
We did a lot of swimming in Bermuda,
Swimming is brutal.
Yeah. Cliff jumping.
You guys should see Anna swim with goggles and without goggles.
Which one's better?
I'm a different person with goggles.
She could probably go to the Olympics with goggles. She needs a rescue swimmer without.
Do your goggles have like super seeing powers? Or
It was demoralizing actually when she put the goggles on, because she was really bad for days. I'm like, oh, thank God I can beat Anna in swimming.
Finally.
And then she puts the goggles on and was like, where is Anna? Oh, she's already finished.
Yeah, just they're my superpower.
So speaking of fitness, what's your fitness regime like? Like, obviously, Mike alluded to the fact that you're at the Red Bull Center all the time, training up. Well, what's a week in the life of Anna Weis?
Yeah, so I spend a lot of time on the grinding machine. So typically 4 to 5 days a week. I'm on the grinding machine. 2 of those days is like zone 2, and then 2 days is hard interval training, and then I'm also doing 4 lifts a week, so 2 uppers, 2 lowers.
Getting tired, but continue.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I've been at the Red Bull facility a lot, and it's such a great resource. They have dietitian, strength and conditioning coaches, physios, literally everything you can think of, and so it's really great to have a partner like them to support, my fitness and improving in that way.
And to be surrounded by like athletes that are just doing epic things, right?
Absolutely.
Whether they're jumping out of planes or what Lindsay's doing, coming back or come back and skiing, or any of these different athletes, like what they're doing right in front of you when you walk in the door. It's like everybody's in the same gym and has one goal, and that's to be the best at what they do. And it's
it really makes
pretty
you work
inspiring.
hard.
Yeah, product of your environment.
Yeah.
It's a good
Yeah.
environment
Yeah.
to put yourself
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
I guess the interesting thing at SailGP is obviously people at home watching see the thing that happens on the water, but they are pretty long days. Obviously, you've got to be fit enough to do the job. But I mean, we've spoken about the day in the life of Anna, but Mike, obviously wearing 2 hats is we kind of touched on it before with like Taylor. You kind of have to switch it occasionally. But like for you, what's sort of your day like at SailGP? I mean, it's quite draining from the outside. It looks like it's they're long days, and then you have to come in and perform on a weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I've been dreaming about this for a long time, right? And so it's they are long days, but I don't find it draining because I love it, right? Even the hard days, and even like the BS and the breakdowns, or a bad day on the water, or
Still no place
sponsor
you'd rather
stuff.
be,
Yeah, there's other than my family, there's no place I'd rather be. But like, yeah, it's a long day. I wake up at 4:30 and I go to bed at 10 if I'm lucky. But I don't know, I've never been one to like really crave sleep. I crave competition, and so like for me it's all competition, like going and entertaining a sponsor or a potential sponsor. It's like they could go with that team or they could go with our team. Like, I'm going to put a smile on and I'm going to go to this dinner. It's a competition. So yeah, I love it. But I wish we got to sail more. You spend long days and you're really only on the water, like putting in an hour or 2 of like meaningful sailing. 'Cause that's what's really fun. But yeah, it's tough. And, but yeah, I'll rest in my next life.
Do you get to the end of the weekend and be like, okay, I'm ready to go again? I feel like you've got that energy about you. You're just like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, like I don't know. I mean, I grew up poor with a single mom that was always working, so like for me, like work is kind of a privilege, and like to be where I am now, like, I live in New York City, like I have a great life, like I love working, and yeah, maybe addicted to it, and but yeah, I don't know, it's fun, and when I leave here, I can't wait to come back. But what I used to find is I'd come home from a race, and whether I won or got third or got my butt kicked, on Monday morning, I was like twiddling my thumbs, right? Like watching ESPN for, the 30th time, right? And I realized like I missed the competition, and like, so it was my way of like doing both, is like kind of my way of being more than an athlete, kind of Monday to Friday, when we're outside of a race.
What's been the biggest challenge for you as a sailor or as a CEO, sort of like on this journey to SailGP, would you say? Has been anything that, like, obviously you're going to push through everything, you're that sort of person, and you seem to make things come to life that you want, but has there been anything that's been, you've really had to push through?
I mean, listen, the sailing's hard, the building a culture is hard, sponsorship is hard, but like, getting kind of everybody on the same page, that's really hard, because sailing has been, at least as long as I can ever remember, it's like very transactional. A lot of the people that work, they get paid by the day, and if you're going to build a fan base, like, you have to be always on, right? And if everything matters, right, you have to have your Red Bull can, and you have to have your hat a certain way, and you have to have the correct sunglasses on, and the correct shirt on, and the correct shoes on, and your outfit for walk-in, and this, that, and the other. And it's really hard to get everybody on that because not a lot of sailors, what I found, pay attention to other sports. And like if you watch other sports right now, if you watch the NBA, there's more made of what the guys walk in than the game. And they make $60 million a year. So like
They're doing okay.
They're doing okay, right? And they do it for a reason. It's compelling, and they're in the communities. Like
I'm always watching. Well, what are they walking in?
Yeah, and we've seen it in the WNBA. We've seen it in F1. You know, I went to the launch of TGL last week, and like they made a big deal what the golfers walked in, and you know, so getting kind of our group to buy into that, and really SailGP as a whole, has been a bit of a challenge, and trying to do what some of these other leagues and sports are doing with being involved in the communities. Like you have to do a thing to get a fan, right? Like they don't just
show up.
Don't show up. Like these people that stood out here to watch us leave today, like most of that is because guys like Peter and Blair have inspired them, and Daltz before them, and Russell and all these guys, and Slingsby and what you've done in your country. Like you've inspired people, right? And we all have to do that if we expect fans, right? And you have to have fans when you're losing too, right? Like these the Cleveland Browns, they always lose, but their stadium is always full because they connect with their people. So I think that's been the hardest thing, is like trying to build that. And it'll take time.
Yeah, it's been amazing to watch, and I think it's really cool to have somebody like you come in here and be like, this is what we're going to do, and see that grow. And we see that when we go to the States now with fans. Like, you need to give the fans something to want to engage in. You can't just be this cardboard cutout.
It's got to be a partnership, right?
And people want to know you, and obviously in this world we're now opening more up. The authenticity is something that people want, and I think it's really cool to see what you're doing. I guess, Anna, as sailors, you kind of not used to this world. In the Olympic world, you kind of put your head down, do your thing. You go to the Olympics, maybe a few people care about that, but then generally there's not as much as connection, maybe with your sailing club or local sailing around the US. But what's that been like for you, obviously, to kind of be in this world, see Mike's vision, and then be like, yeah, okay, put me in?
She's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I mean, yeah, it's totally different, but I think in SailGP, it's just something you have to embrace, and I believe in Mike's vision. I think what he's trying to achieve is really great, and at the end of the day, Mike gave me this opportunity to be in this new role, and so I'm trying to just take it head on and take everything that comes with it, and the content team is always like, Anna, post more on social media, and it's like, okay. And
they're watching, which is why she has to say that.
yeah. And is it my favorite thing to do all the time? No, but I'm really trying to embrace this whole opportunity and everything that comes with it. And I've had such great opportunities. I mean, getting to meet Lindsey Vonn, and I see her as kind of like a mentor, and I would have never thought I would say that ever. And so and I've met amazing people, amazing athletes, and it's brought a lot of really, really incredible opportunities. And so, again, I'm just trying to embrace it and enjoy it.
Well, it's incredible to see what you're doing off the water, but let's talk about on the water. Where do you see you guys at the end of the season? I know the answer. I think I know the answer.
Where do you see us at the end of the season?
Well, I was very impressed in Dubai, Mike. I was like, okay, they had a very good training camp. I think for me, watching the SailGP fleet evolve, it's really hard to pick a top three. I think the new T-foils will change things a lot. I think the hard thing for you realistically, if you want my opinion, is like to try keep that consistency across the venues. Just because so often you'll go to a new venue and it'll be something that you guys have probably haven't even raced in before, and that's just such a difficult thing to do. And I mean, you can definitely be up there. You've proved it, but I think consistency is going to be hard for a lot of teams. But I don't know, where do you see yourself?
I mean, when we kind of put the group together to buy the team, I was pretty upfront with everybody and said it's 3 full seasons before we have the opportunity to compete for a championship, right? And I think that's probably optimistic. You see how long it takes to turn an NBA team around, or or a NFL team, and there's sort of this illusion that the U.S. team was like, at the top of the leaderboard before we showed up, which is not true, right? And so it's gonna take some time, and I think right now we can probably compete on an inconsistent basis, and the goal is have our when we're sailing kind of sub where we think we are, that's somewhere in the middle of the pack, and like you're on your occasional podium. I think that's sort of realistic for us this year. I haven't put any pressure on anybody for results. It's just the pressure is put on each other. We put the pressure on ourselves to learn, right, and put in the work. And if you're working, the results will come, because that's when, as you know from the Olympics, like preparation gets you confidence, right? If you're confident without preparation, you're just cocky, right? Like, and you're getting your butt kicked. But like true confidence comes from true preparation, and we're scrapping to be able to do that, right? And we don't have that many days, so we don't have the preparation we need. So yeah, we struggle with that true confidence. But when we have it, and you trust the people around you, you can see what we have 2 podiums in a year. It's pretty good, but we want to be there consistently.
Well, you can see the camaraderie. You can see that the competitiveness is certainly there, and I know the desire to win and do your best is also there. So I'm excited to watch your journey.
Do you have any updated predictions on the season, or are you sticking with your prediction?
I'm gonna change my prediction.
Okay, what do we got? Where are you picking us?
I'm gonna go with 7th.
Okay, we'll take that.
I think we'll
accept your apology.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And I think, to be honest, I did my podcast predictions, and it was a really difficult thing to do, because I'm doing it on a whim, just having a chat to Stevie, and you're kind of going down, and then there's just like boats left at the end, and it was very hard.
I'm sure. No, I'm sure it's hard. I'm sure it's hard to pick too.
It only makes us work harder.
Yeah, exactly. And who actually?
Come on, it did not make us work.
You guys were working anyway. You were working in Bermuda, and I didn't even think about
it.
I
don't know. I think
got to Anna.
Well, anytime someone tells me I can't do something, then I just want it more.
She was doing one-armed pull-ups, thinking about you at the Olympics.
I just want
it more. Had my face on the wall, just being like, I'm gonna prove you wrong, and I'm so happy for everyone to prove me wrong, because I mean it is a really hard position to be in, because I do know you guys, and I want you to go succeed out there, but in the end only one person can win, and it's getting harder and harder to pick that top 3, just because it's harder and harder to go race out there, and I fully respect how difficult it is, and I mean, who cares what I say anyway, right? The results will speak for themselves.
You said it.
No, I really appreciate you guys having the chat. It was cool,
no,
and
thank you for having
do
us.
love watching your team grow and change and develop. So
thanks, Lisa.
Thanks for having us on. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for listening to One on One. We'll see you next time.